Modeling. And this is really interesting. And the modeling industry has changed a lot. Used to be like you had to be the 10 out of 10 model and the most beautiful person in the world. But modeling has changed and representation has changed. So if you're an actor, you're probably, if you have an agent, you're probably being represented for TV and film and theater opportunities, but usually it's separate agencies for modeling. So there might be an opportunity for you to join a modeling agency, and all of a sudden you're also going out for print jobs and digital jobs. Often you see ads and on the internet or on the side of buses and billboards where they're not necessarily actors. They're just people smiling, wearing the clothes or doing the thing. It's not always fashion models either. It's just someone sitting at a desk working on their computer, and then that is a recruiting ad for a company. And I think there's more opportunities.
It was a lot of fun.
Rand's done a print ad, you know. I mean, you're beautiful, yeah, and you're so handsome, but even regular people can end up on those billboards. And it's just it's an extra opportunity, and you might scoff at that, and the imposter syndrome might be like, oh, who am I to model? I'm thinking of, I've never reached out to any of them, but nowadays it's all shapes, sizes, ethnicities. So you don't have to be that heroin chic waif model that walks down a runway to be a model for print ads. It's there's catalogs and there's online ads and posters and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes they'll take those stills from the commercial shoots where we'll be using an on-camera actor who's got lines, and then at the end they'll take some stills out of it, and then they'll turn that into the print ads. But a lot of the times it's just a completely separate gig. So and how would you do that? You just Google in your area modeling agencies, print modeling agencies, advertising modeling agencies, and then they usually have a submission. You probably means you need to have a photo shoot done. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Always a great thing to have fresh headshots and maybe some lifestyle shots of you full body hanging out in some cool scenarios where they can see all of you and get a vibe for you, and that might be enough to be added to a roster. But especially if you got some kind of unique look, unique hairdo, unique something unique about you, I think there's always opportunities for that. So check out modeling opportunities. Zoolander, and you can give them your blue steel. There you go. There's my blue steel. Number 5, there's opportunities to work as a brand ambassador and work at what are called corporate activations. And a lot of the times, just to explain what these are, is company is wanting to get free samples out, or they have a new program or a new product out. So there'll be trade shows or just local events like down in the town square or at a market. They'll set up a booth, a kiosk. And who do they want? They want outgoing, charismatic people to engage the public, to dish out their samples. Maybe you have some talking points to run somebody through the outline of this new cable package or this new fantastic food thing or whatever it is. But those happen all the time, and those usually pay. The ones I've seen are usually $25 to $50 an hour, depending on the company and what you're doing. They can be long days. Often they're outside, but often they're longer gigs too. That might be for like a full trade show where some company, Mercedes, will need you at the car show in your area to man their booth, hand out flyers, chat people up, draw people in, be charismatic, be an ambassador for the company. So you can use a lot of the skills that you've developed as an actor, as a speaker, as a performer, as a storyteller, to engage people, because that's what we're doing on screen is we're engaging people, we're telling compelling stories, and corporations, they need those people to speak to the public in person sometimes too. So again, I would Google brand ambassadors plus your city, or Google corporate activations, and you'll find a lot of the times those are agencies too, sort of like what do you call it? Sort of like temp agencies, where you'll just go on a roster and they'll send you email blasts saying, hey, we got this campaign coming up. Are you available for these dates? This is what it pays. you say yes, and then you show up and you make your $25, $40, $50 an hour to do those. So huge opportunity there too. Have you ever done that?
No.
No, I've done some of that back in the day. I've actually done. I think I've done all of these except for modeling so far. Number 6 is mascot work, and there's so mascot meaning you're in a wacky suit. Maybe you're the Easter Bunny, or you're Super Mario, or you're a sports mascot. And there's opportunities to do this. Pretty much every city has kids' birthday parties, superhero parties, princess parties, where you're sometimes it's a full thing where you got a head on and you're just inside the character. Other times it's your actual face, but you're in a Superman suit or a Batman suit or something like that, or a princess. What is it, like Frozen is a pretty good example. Like the amount of is it Elsa? The amount of Elsas at 8-year-old girls' birthday parties and boys' birthday parties, like literally right now, there's probably Elsa performing at a birthday party, making $50 an hour, $100 an hour. And the other opportunity is sporting events. There's a lot of it could be the big leagues, or your local minor league teams often will have a mascot, and often they'll pay. They might pay $100 a game or something like that. Plus you get free tickets. Maybe you get a lunch while you're there. And what you got to do, you got to run around the stadium and hype up the audience, throw out T-shirts with your T-shirt cannon, give kids candy and merch and all that kind of stuff. So those can be super exciting and really fun. And they can pay, again, I think they usually pay somewhere between $50 and $100 an hour. Sometimes you might need a vehicle if it's the birthday parties. Occasionally you might need a vehicle so you can travel, but not always. I'll give people watching in the Toronto area right now, look up MM Entertainment. Melanie, who is a regular here, Melanie McGregor runs that company, and she has all kinds of corporate events that she runs. Sometimes she needs dancers, sometimes she needs princesses and superheroes and mascots. Sometimes it's at nightclubs where they just they want to fancy up the night, so they have dancers run around every half hour, every hour for this big event. Or they have I did one at Cabana. I think it was at Cabana Pool Bar a few years ago. And it was literally a bunch of Super Mario Nintendo characters. And every half an hour, there was a sort of a marching band and these characters. And they would just do a lap or two every half hour around the pool bar, nice fancy outdoor pool bar, but everyone's partying and drunk. And these mascots would just go dance, and everyone would be like, oh my God, it's Mario. And they would dance with Mario, and they would take pictures and selfies, and it was crazy, but it was a really, really fun gig. In that one, I wasn't a mascot. No, I was the Wrangler. They also need human not in costume to make sure that these people, sometimes visually it's kind of tough to navigate. What's that?
Your peripheral vision is almost completely gone when you have the big heads on.
Yeah, so often at these bigger events, you'll have a human handler outside of a costume to do two things: to guide you the right way, make sure you're not falling downstairs or falling off a balcony. But also, if in the case of club and nightclub, sometimes people, when they're a little tipsy, get a little grabby or shovey. So it's also to make sure that you're safe in those as well too. So, but yeah, that was like a 4-hour gig. I think I got paid a couple $100 to be there, and I was literally like bodyguarding Mario Brothers and other cartoon characters, and people loved it. People were freaking out. They were like, oh, people were dancing with them all, and in some cases twerking and grinding with some of these characters. So it's super fun. So yeah, check out mascot work in your area, and a lot of those can be ongoing gigs. We know some people, Steve Hobbs, Al Val. They've been mascots for minor league teams for the entire season. So like every home game, they got that gig. They go there for a couple hours, get the vibe of the crowd, get to have lots of fun, goof around.